Hello there, music lovers. Thank you so much for dropping by and for all that you do with subscribing and commenting and the thumbs up and the thumbs down. I really do appreciate it. I wanted to talk about Fleetwood Mac. They're getting ready to go on the road before you know it. Their first shows with their new band members, Mike Campbell, formerly of the Heartbreakers, and Neil Finn, formerly of Split Enz and Crowded House. They're going to be doing their first show in September at an iHeart music festival in Vegas. And that's going to be the first time we get to see these guys perform live. And there's lots of speculation as to, what are they going to do? There's lots of talk about them doing some stuff from the earlier days of Fleetwood Mac, like the Peter Green days, the pre-Lindsey Buckingham days. I've heard Mick talk about doing Black Magic Woman, which is a song that Fleetwood Mac, specifically Peter Green, wrote. And then a couple of years later, Santana did it. And of course, it became a huge hit. A lot of people think that they wrote it, but they didn't. That's a Fleetwood Mac song. And so I think that probably would be a good choice. That seems to fit in well with the Stevie Nicks kind of a mystique and everything. She seems like a Black Magic Woman, right? So she'll probably do that song. I would look for that. Oh Well is another one that they've kind of talked about doing. They've also kind of hinted that they have asked or implied that they would be open to playing some Neil Finn stuff, which I find kind of interesting because I don't know that the Neil Finn material fits in with Fleetwood Mac. I think that they're, while definitely Neil Finn has a very melodic side and a very pop-oriented side, I just don't know if it integrates well with Fleetwood Mac and how they would do it. What would they do? And I just wanted to talk about in this video about Neil Finn and what he's going to be bringing into this band. Neil Finn is a guy that I came to know when he was in Split Enz, which is a band that was started by his brother, older brother, Tim Finn. Tim Finn is 6 years older than Neil. And, Split Enz they're a strange band, kind of interesting band, really, really cool. The earlier days of Split Enz, they used to wear makeup. They were real kooky, kind of reminded me in some ways of early Genesis. Not that Split Enz was a progressive rock band, but there were some elements of their earlier sound that remind me of early Genesis. I'll try to put some of that below so you can check it out for yourself. I think probably what reminds me of Genesis is going to be the fact that the music just sounds like it comes from another time and another place, which I get that from the earlier days of Genesis too. Once we started getting into the mid-70s, the late 70s, Tim invited his brother Neil to join. So Neil Finn joins. He kind of comes in at the end of the makeup period. I even uploaded a video, a bootleg of Split Enz many, many years ago to this channel. It has not been taken down. So I'll put a link to that so you can check it out. Real kooky stuff, but really, really cool. Tim Finn kind of slowly, I guess you want to say, gives more and more control to Neil. Neil starts writing more and more songs, singing more songs, and then by the time we get to the end of the Split Enz era, it's practically Crowded House. You got the drummer from Crowded House, Paul Hester, who sadly hung himself in 2005, I think it was. He was the drummer on the last Split Enz album, and so that kind of was the entry point into Crowded House, which was just a three-piece band with Neil Finn and Paul Hester and another guy, I can't remember his name. But anyway, Split Enz had some really good songs, and I think most of the songs that I like by Split Enz probably were sung by his older brother Tim, but Neil, I thought, had some really good songs. And one of the things I love about making these videos is that I get to revisit songs and artists and things that I haven't maybe seen in quite a while. And so I was going back over some of this stuff, and it really was cool. I really got a lot of good memories, and there's a lot of really good music in the Split Enz Crowded House catalog that I wanted to share with you. I'm going to put a link down below so you can check these songs out for yourself. But I just wanted to kind of give you my take on what I thought were some of the best Neil Finn songs out there that you may enjoy. All right, so one song that you may already know is a song called I Got You. It's probably the most recognizable Split Enz song. It was their most popular one here in the States. Came out in 1980. That's a really cool song. Also, another one is called Straight Old Line, which was produced by Hugh Padgham. which kind of ties into what I was just talking about. He produced Genesis, and he produced Gabriel too. He produced a song that I was talking about on another video that I did recently. I'll put a link up for that. Something else that Neil did that was really cool was a song called History Never Repeats. That's a good one from '81. Another song that he did that was really good is Message to My Girl. That also was from '83, produced by Hugh Padgham. One Step Ahead from '81 is another really cool song. And then Crowded House has a couple of songs that I really, really like. Weather With You, which is a song that, it's a Crowded House song, but his brother Tim joined him on that album. He actually was a member of Crowded House for a brief amount of time. So it was almost like a Split Enz reunion. The album is very strong. The album is called Woodface from '91. And one of the things about Tim and Neil is that they're brothers, but they don't look alike and they don't sound alike. Tim has a much higher voice, but when they sing with each other, it's such a good harmony. And I think Weather With You is a really good example of how they harmonize, and they sound really, really good together. And then, of course, another song that I would recommend is Crowded House's biggest single here in the States, Don't Dream It's Over, from '86. That went to #2. And it's just a really, I hadn't heard the song in quite a while. I was just listening to it, and it's a really, really well done pop song. And I think of any of the songs that Neil's done, maybe Don't Dream It's Over is the one you're most likely to see in a Fleetwood Mac show. Maybe they'll give him a solo spot. I've seen Neil do this acoustic, and he does a really good job with it. So I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see what you guys think of, any possibility of a Neil song making its way into a Fleetwood Mac set. What song would it be? Should there be any Neil songs in the Fleetwood Mac set? I mean, you got to think that maybe they'll have a Tom Petty song, maybe Stop Dragging My Heart Around, which is a song that Tom Petty and Stevie Nicks did with each other. That was a duet. Mike Campbell was a part of that. Nice guitar work on that song. Why wouldn't that work into a Fleetwood Mac set? I haven't heard any talk about it, but I could see that happening. So I'm just kind of curious on your take on Neil Finn, the whole Fleetwood Mac thing that's going on. What did you think of Split Enz? Any Split Enz fans out there? Check down below. I'll put a link to all the great tunes that I've been talking about so you can see for yourself. And yeah, give this video a thumbs up. If you like it, be sure to subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.